The evening sky draped itself in a muted palette of grays as I walked home, my footsteps echoing softly against the cobblestones of our sleepy neighborhood. The distant hum of traffic blended with the low rustle of leaves, creating a symphony that felt both calming and melancholic. I had just finished a long day at work, my mind still tangled in the web of spreadsheets and deadlines, when I glanced toward my landlady's window. Mrs. Abernathy was a fixture of our building, a tiny woman with a shock of silver hair and a penchant for floral dresses that seemed to bloom even in winter. She had lived in the same apartment for over 3 decades, much longer than any of us tenants had occupied our spaces. Her living room window, framed with lace curtains, often revealed glimpses of her world. The soft glow of a lamp illuminating stacks of books, a hint of a well-loved armchair, and the floral arrangements that appeared to thrive under her care. As I passed, I caught her eye. There was a moment of recognition, and then she beckoned me in, her hand waving like the fluttering of a bird's wing. "Come in. I need a second opinion." Her voice, though warm, carried an undercurrent of urgency that piqued my curiosity. I hesitated only for a moment, wondering if I should really intrude on her evening. Yet, the invitation hung in the air, almost palpable, and I found myself crossing the threshold of her apartment, the familiar scent of lavender and old books enveloping me like a hug. "Thank you for coming, dear," she chirped, her eyes sparkling with a blend of mischief and earnestness. The living room was dimly lit, with a single lamp casting a golden glow that danced across the walls. I noticed the room was cluttered yet cozy, with trinkets and books crammed onto every available surface. Mrs. Abernathy was a collector of stories, and her home was a testament to the myriad lives she had touched over the years. "What do you need a second opinion on?" I asked, glancing around the room. The walls were adorned with her paintings, an explosion of colors that depicted landscapes and flowers, each piece infused with her love for nature. "Just this," she said, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper as she reached for a small, unassuming picture frame that sat on the side table. The frame was nothing special, wooden, slightly chipped at the corners, and holding a faded photograph. She handed it to me with a flourish, her expression a mixture of excitement and trepidation. I took the frame, squinting at the image within. It depicted a younger Mrs. Abernathy, standing amidst a field of wildflowers, her hair blowing in the wind, a radiant smile lighting up her face. But it wasn't the photograph that held my attention. It was the way she watched me, her dark eyes searching mine for something more than mere approval. "It's lovely," I said, my voice soft and reassuring. "You look so happy." She nodded, but her expression faltered. "That's just it, dear. I mean, yes, I was happy then, but—" Her voice trailed off, and I sensed an invisible thread pulling at her emotions, binding her to something deeper. "Is there something specific you want me to look for?" I prompted gently, hoping to draw her out of the shadow that had suddenly wrapped around her words. Mrs. Abernathy took a deep breath, her gaze shifting to the window, where the last glimmers of daylight were fading into dusk. "This picture, it's from a time I often think about, a time when everything felt brighter, freer. But I've realized that the memory is starting to feel like a weight. I need to decide what to do with it. Do I keep it or let it go?" I could see now that this moment was not merely about the frame or the photograph. She was standing at the crossroads of her past, grappling with the bittersweet tang of nostalgia. "What do you feel when you look at it?" I asked, hoping to help her articulate the emotions swirling within her. She sighed, a sound heavy with years of experience. "I feel joy, yes, but also sadness. It reminds me of my late husband, James. We spent so many evenings wandering through those fields, laughing, dreaming." Her voice quivered slightly, and I could see the sheen of tears pooling in her eyes. "Now, it feels like I'm holding onto a ghost." The weight of her words settled around us, thick and palpable. I couldn't help but feel the gravity of her loss, the way the past can sometimes cling to us like a shroud. preventing us from embracing the present. What if you let it go? I suggested softly, the words tumbling out before I could fully consider them. Mrs. Abernathy turned to me, her expression shifting from sorrow to contemplation. Let it go? But what if I forget him? What if I forget those moments? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting, I replied gently. You can carry those memories with you without the physical reminder. Perhaps it's time to find a new way to honor them. She pondered this, her brow furrowing as she processed my words. The dim light flickered slightly, and for a moment, the room felt charged with possibility. You're wise beyond your years, dear, she said finally, her voice softening. But it's hard. It's all I have left of him. I understand, I said, my heart aching for her. But sometimes, holding on too tightly can keep us from moving forward. Perhaps you could find a way to celebrate him. Write about those memories, share them with someone, or plant something in his honor. Mrs. Abernathy's eyes widened, a spark igniting within them. A garden, she exclaimed, her voice rising with fervor. Yes, I could plant a garden filled with wildflowers, just like the ones we used to explore together. That would be a beautiful way to keep his spirit alive. I watched as her excitement blossomed, the dim living room suddenly feeling brighter, as if the very air had shifted around us. You should do it, I encouraged, smiling at her newfound resolve. You have the talent and the love to create something beautiful. Thank you, dear, she said, her voice steady now, filled with a warmth that spread through the room. You've given me something to think about. I appreciate your time and your wisdom. I returned the picture frame to her, feeling a sense of completion, a moment of connection that transcended the triviality of the frame. You've always been a guiding light for the tenants in this building, I said, my heart full. I'm glad I could help in some small way. As I turned to leave, Mrs. Abernathy called after me, her voice wrapping around me like a comforting blanket. You know, dear, it's not just about the memories we keep. It's also about the moments we share with others along the way. Thank you for reminding me of that. I stepped back into the cool evening air, the weight of her words lingering in my mind. The sky had darkened now, the stars twinkling like distant memories against the inky backdrop. I walked home, feeling lighter somehow, as if I had participated in a small miracle of understanding and connection. The next few weeks passed in a blur of routine, punctuated by the occasional friendly wave from Mrs. Abernathy as I passed her window. I often thought of our conversation, reflecting on how the act of sharing burdens could illuminate even the darkest corners of our lives. One evening, as I returned home from work, I noticed Mrs. Abernathy bustling about in her garden. She had transformed the small patch of earth behind our building into a riot of colors. Wildflowers danced in the breeze, their vibrant hues a testament to her resilience and creativity. I paused to admire her handiwork, a smile creeping across my face. "Hello, dear," she called out, her voice bright and cheerful. "Come see what I've done." I joined her in the garden, marveling at the blossoms that now filled the space with life. "It's beautiful," I exclaimed, my heart swelling with pride for her. "It's a labor of love," she replied, kneeling to tend to the flowers. "Each one is a memory of James, but also a step into the future. I'm learning to find joy in both." We spent the evening in the garden, sharing stories and laughter as the sun dipped below the horizon. Watching her, I realized that letting go didn't mean erasing the past. It was about integrating those memories into the fabric of our lives, where they could continue to grow and flourish. As the days turned into weeks, the garden continued to thrive, just as Mrs. Abernathy did. She became a source of inspiration not just for me, but for our entire building. Neighbors began to stop by, drawn in by the vibrant blooms and her infectious spirit. Together, we created a community around her garden, a place where laughter and memories intertwined, where connections flourished like the wildflowers under the sun. One evening, as twilight descended, I found myself sitting on her porch, watching the first stars twinkle in the sky. "You've created something truly magical here," I told her, my heart full. "You've turned loss into life." Mrs. Abernathy smiled, her eyes reflecting the glow of the garden. "It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, we can find beauty and connection. Thank you for being part of this journey with me." In that moment, I understood that the second opinion she had sought was never truly about the photograph. It was about the courage to confront her memories, to embrace change, and to share her journey with another soul. Our lives had intertwined in a way that reminded us both of the power of human connection, a bond that transcended time and loss. As I left her porch that night, I felt a renewed sense of purpose within myself. Life is a tapestry woven from moments shared, memories cherished, and the courage to let go, allowing new blooms to take root. And in the garden of life, each of us holds the power to nurture the flowers that will bloom again, even when the past lingers like a shadow. In the end, it was never just a second opinion. It was a journey of rediscovery, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the beauty of finding light in the dimmest of rooms.